Hey, welcome to Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast. This is Timmy Obliv, the Man in Black, and old Russell for short, if you want to call me that. Been a while. My voice is back to normal, and we're still fighting the sinuses, as you hear Kim in the background. But on the last show, Saturday, my voice, it was just gone. It was history. There was no way I could do a show because I would have had to hold up signs, you know. Anyway, we got a huge show today. Lots of stuff to talk about. So we're gonna get right into headlines. WrestleZone.com reports that the Hart family is opening a new wrestling school. Bruce Hart stated on Pro Wrestling Powerhouse Radio about his new school named the Hart Brothers University Wrestling Training Facility. So the Harts are getting back into training new wrestlers, so that's actually pretty cool. Now if you could just train owners and yeah. Anyway, moving on. Jim Ross stated that he, in a QA that was on his site, that he is not under a no-compete clause after his retirement, and we're actually going to talk about this because, you know, we'll get to it in a minute. From WWE, this was a part of a QA, as I said, on his site. Ross goes on to say that he is free to pursue any opportunities he chooses and is weighing many options. So we actually have a lot on Ross today. So, you know, we've touched on the topic of his retirement since it happened, and, you know, kind of beat around the bush because I don't like to talk about stuff that comes from, you know, most of the stuff I was hearing comes from the rumor mills sites. You know, people that just anything they hear a hint of, something that somebody else talked about, or somebody pulled something out of their butt saying, "Oh, he got fired for this," or "He got fired." Well, once it kind of, you know, started filtering to the people I trust, you know, I've decided we're going to talk about it. The PWR show with Damian Nelson and David Hero on YouTube and on My 24 Milwaukee, they started talking about it openly. So I'm actually going to take that there's actually some evidence or some, you know, actual meaning to this stuff, that people aren't just talking off the top of their head or out their ass, that maybe he was let go by Vince McMahon because of an issue that happened at the WWE 2K14 gala that they had, or symposium, where Ric Flair apparently got out of hand, and, you know, either JR couldn't control him or didn't. There was a lot of people talking about bullshit rumors that we're not even going to touch on those. Something about alcohol and everything. I'm sorry. I've watched Ric Flair enough to know that when Ric Flair gets on a roll, Vince couldn't control him. Why do you think JR could? Yeah, I know he's the best, you know, he's the best announcer in the business, but, you know, there are limitations to what he can do. So if Vince had wanted to say, you know, well, you could have just not invited him. You know, you could have had him do a video interview about it. And if that happened, WWE, really? I mean, this is like a world championship football team. And I'm going to poke at Goldie for a minute, Goldust. Like the Packers. Sorry. I do live in Wisconsin. Hello. I got to go for the Packers, even though I do love the Saints, but because we are from the South. But it's like, okay, take right after the Super Bowl win for the Packers. The Packers decide, hey, we're going to get rid of the quarterback we have now, and we're going to pick up a local high school quarterback that has, you know, 100% less experience and maybe half the talent. That would be pretty much like, you know, what WWE's done. They, you know, don't get me wrong, I like Michael Cole. And you know, I like King. I think they try to push JBL's heel a little much. There's only certain people that can be heel and be like this when they're on camera. I mean, he needs to look mean. You know, if he's going to say something, every time that camera hits JBL, it's a big smile. It's like he's trying to sell used cars. I'm sorry. I mean, you can't.
It's like a car sale.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. He does a lot for charity, and I like JBL's announcer. Just, I don't know if he was a great heel wrestler, but he smiles every time the camera hits him. And I'm sorry, only Chance Prophet and like several of the older wrestlers, Hall of Famers, it's very few that can actually sit on camera and smile and still be heel, okay, or be creepy. And it just was like, he's doing a headshot. I'm sorry. WWE hires former superstar Eugene, or it's Nick Eugene Dinsmore, as a trainer at the Performance Center. You know, he got into trouble with he had a problem with prescription meds. He's gotten himself cleaned up. He, you know, got back on track. He started doing around with some of the indie wrestling scene. So they have hired him as a trainer. You know, that he was portrayed as Bischoff's nephew that had problems. There is nothing wrong with him. I truly am kind of touchy about that character. I wasn't at the time, which you know, to me is pathetic. But now that I have a son with special needs, I kind of, well, you know. Anyway, Jim Ross says he is also open to a move to MMA announcing. You know, I'm pretty sure it would take a lot of research, unless he watches MMA a lot, which I'm pretty sure he does. He's been in the sports business for forever, and not to mention he's a wise man, so I'm pretty sure that he keeps an eye on most sports. Okay, we're going to talk some about not particularly the Bleacher Report .com as a whole, but I read some crap on the Bleacher Report written by an Angie Susek, or however the hell you say his name. I'm wondering if his middle name isn't Dumbass. It was named WWE's worst of the week, and you know, most of the article was actually sound, you know, and I mean, I know he's writing from, you know, writing from his shoulders and, you know, kind of, you know, trying to say what he wants to say, but the problem that I had is when he got to the point of talking bad about Dusty Rhodes' Hartfield shoot promo on Raw. He actually said the promo was vomit, and I'm quoting, inducing, and made several insulting comments toward the Hall of Famer. You know, dude, I don't know if you're listening, but you need to learn to some respect. There's a reason why Dusty Rhodes is called the Dream. There's a reason why he went so far. And the fact that you're sitting on your ass at home or sitting in some place in front of a computer saying that that promo was crap means that all those years that you say you've been watching wrestling, apparently it helps if you take the blindfold off. Okay? You can't talk about something as good as what Dustin Rhodes talks about on there, saying it was a crappy promo, that you were like, why did they even have this guy on here? There's a reason why Dusty took the polka dots and went so far. It's because of the man he is. You're going to sit there and pretty much down talk this guy and say that it's a stupid angle. Really? Really? There's other things going on in WWE right now that are stupid. But having Dusty Rhodes, I don't know why I keep saying, I guess Goldust is talking about me. But Dusty Rhodes coming on there and cutting a shoot promo from the heart and blowing Stephanie McMahon out of the water by telling her to go to hell, that is awesome.
That is
if you don't know that, turn your computer off, go get a very large hammer, and beat it until it's not recognizable as a computer. The Bleacher Report needs to fire your ass, and if they're paying you, they need to have their head examined. This guy turned the Bleacher Report into the Bitch Report. And that's from Mayhem News. You can quote me on that. All right, moving right along. Now that I've got that out of my system. The TNA Impact Wrestling results. Magnus issues an open challenge, and of course, the Ego, which is Extraordinary Gentlemen's Organization. I'm still expecting Sean Connery to come out and say, "Oh, really?" Anyway, it comes out and attacks him. Of course, Sting and Joe come out for the save, setting up a 6-man tag later, and I scanned the audience, and I didn't see Teddy Long, so Teddy is starting to use his superpowers to infiltrate TNA Creative and create 6-man tags. It's his lot in life. Anyway, moving along. Manic is defeated by Jeff Hardy with a twist of fate. Then he's attacked by Sabin, who is now showing his all-out heel self. And he's teamed up. He's supposedly dating. Now, whether it's on the show or off camera, he's supposedly going out with one of the knockouts. And you know, I guess to be a heel in TNA, you have to be teamed up with a female. And I don't know. They went so long with Bully Ray, but the Sabin and the Pigeons have decided to go together, and Velvet Sky has, you know, pretty much been in the background talking to Sabin a lot. So we're going to see where that goes. ODB defeats Mickie James to become the next knockout champion. Of course, this was, you know, pretty obvious. It was no surprise that she was going to win because Mickie James' contract went out like the following Monday. They signed a one-night thing for the TNA thing, and of course now she is in negotiations with her new contract. So I don't think she's completely gone. But as of now, Mickie James does not work for TNA until they negotiate a new contract, which would probably have been a one-day thing. But with all this releasing of talent and stuff like that, it probably gets a little tedious. Let's see. Robbie E gets beat twice by Eric Young first, then again by Joseph Park. Laugh out loud, bro. It was fun. That segment was worth the whole show. I'm sorry. I think it even outdid Sting being there. That was funny. He gets rolled up in a schoolboy twice in less than 3 minutes. It was hilarious. And then, you know, I don't know. Bully Ray finds himself lonely when the remaining aces and eights kind of take offense when he tells the only reason he has the title and thanks Brooke Tessmacher that she's the reason he has the title. Last time I seen it was that one big guy and them two little guys that jumped in there and saved your ass against Ken Anderson. So I think the Aces and Eights days as a storyline is numbered. Thank you, God. Can I get a testify, if you will? I'm sorry. For some reason, Dusty Rhodes just took over my head. If you will. Anyway, Ego defeats the Main Event Mafia, which are down to pretty much, you know, there's only 3 of them until Kurt Angle comes back. It was an action-packed match, so it was actually a pretty good match. The Ego just cheated a little better, I guess. AJ Styles face off with Dixie Carter. Now, I guess we should have seen this coming, okay? After AJ Styles pokes at CM Punk by saying he's not just the best in the world, he's the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Okay, there's your first clue. All right, he does a shoot promo two times. That's in a row. Okay. He gets a title shot. Okay. He tells Dixie congratulations on giving him a shot at their championship after he's been shooting on her for weeks. He mentions multiple wrestlers who have been released under scrutiny from a lot of the fans and a lot of the other wrestlers. He mentions those names on television. All right. And then you get her calling for the turning of the mic off reference, and then the show goes off the air, which actually was a Bischoff thing in WCW. He actually had the TV shut off. The show went off the air supposedly, even though it went off right when it was supposed to. Okay, it all points to a CM Punk storyline, a shoot storyline, with AJ. Now, here's the big question, okay, for this week. Will he threaten to leave TNA with the title? I'm calling it. I'm wondering if he wins the title, if he faces Bully Ray, wins the title, he tells sometime, it would not surprise me if AJ tells her, I'm going to leave with your title. And if he does, then it's a almost identical match, other than AJ is in TNA and not WWE. Hey, it's going to happen. All right, we're going to move on to SmackDown results. Okay, show's actually moving along pretty good, so it may not be more than 30 minutes. It may, but we got 2 Ring Warrior shows to talk about, and then Raw after SmackDown. So we'll see. AJ Lee defeats Naomi after AJ said she would defeat all of the Totally Divas eventually. Santino Marella defeated Swagger, keeping his winning streak. Ryback defeats some local competitor. It almost looked like the first matches he used to wrestle, where he faced two no-name people. They didn't, as far as I know, they didn't even give the name out. They just said he was a local competitor to challenge Ryback. Really? Anyway, Vicky gets admonished after Triple H walks back, basically stopping the 11-on-3 match, and which we're going to see again. Wyatt's defeat Justin Gabriel and Ryder. RVD gets a title shot against Del Rio at Battleground, and mysteriously Del Rio is right there after Triple H gives him the title shot to beat him up. Bryan and the Usos actually defeat the Shield. So, we're seeing a little different stuff. Alright, that was pretty much all of SmackDown. We're going to move on to Ring Warriors. If you're not watching Ring Warriors, you can actually find them on Twitter. Not Twitter, excuse me. It's been a week. It's been a while. I'm sorry. You can actually find them on YouTube. You can find them, just search Ring Warriors. So far, there's been 3 episodes. If you like indie wrestling, you're going to like Ring Warriors too. You're going to like that too. There's going to be some people that you're going to know and some you're not. If you went to a really good indie show, it's actually going to be refreshing to get the difference between a main event or a main stream TV show and one that's actually all indie wrestlers. And you don't have the same people on the show every day. There's some that you're going to see, like all the champions sometimes are there, but you're going to see different people from around the country on this. Ring Warriors TV episode 2, apparently I missed it last week when I didn't do the show. Anyway, apparently we're having maintenance upstairs banging on something. How long does it take to remodel an apartment? Anyway, we have first show of the night. Shows Steve Corino, the king of old school, defeats JoJo. Great match. A lot of action. You'll see more action in a Ring Warriors match than you will anywhere. If you want to see something and you live in this area and Ring Warriors is not in your area, you can go see GLCW, which is Great Lakes Championship Wrestling, with David Hero and Damien, and all of those guys are up there. You also, it's great production. it's worth the tickets. It's worth the drive to Milwaukee if you're here. So hey, Leo Gold defeats. I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, but it's kind of Egyptian. Sabak Ra. He's got a finishing move. We didn't actually get to see it. They call it the Gator Death Roll. It's pretty good. El Fantastico defeats Maxwell Chicago. Maxwell Chicago kills me. He comes out in a ring attire that looks like a tux. It's really funny. Corey Chavez and Frank Stone defeat Jeremiah McCaw and let's see, Milo Beasley. Milo Beasley, that's a big guy. Just want to let you know that. Super Beast Beef Slater defeats Michael Patrick. And then Tyson Tomko, there's a flashback from wrestling in the past. He defeats Michael Sane, who's also a big guy. It's a great show, as usual. Ring Warriors TV Episode 3. More of the same, good stuff. Vince Dorado, which is a luchador character, defeats Mike Cruz. We have some of the Ring Warriors ladies. Mia Kim defeats Leva Bates. Leva Bates will get a shot at their women's title. Excuse me. And QT Marshall defeats Teddy Stigma. Slambinos. Yeah, they're kind of like this wrestling mafia family. Not a shot at Man Event Mafia at all. Except they actually look like mafia. They all got the black leather jackets and the black shirts and the gloves and everything. It's actually pretty cool. There's 4 of them. The 3 of them was the only ones that were competing. There's one outside. The Slambinos defeat Los Bandazos and Milo Beasley. Wardell Walker. Hey, there's another that blast from the past. Defeats Steve Madison. Bruce Santee, which is the Ring Warriors Grand Champion, actually defended his title against Biff Slater and won to retain. They continue to have great cards, and remember, hashtag India Wrestling is the backbone. Don't forget it. Moving on to Raw, the superstars who helped Bryan are all giving a shot at the Shield, and when Triple H is talking about it's the Shield's fault, the 3 Shield members are having a minion moment. You can see Reigns look at Ambrose like, and you see Ambrose go, and then Rollins is like, wasn't we told to do what we were supposed to be doing? Well, what's this our fault? So it seems like the Shield may have a new name called the Scapegoats, which Stephanie McMahon and them are pretty much trying to get their attention. I'm actually like Michael Cole on this. I think it's a smokescreen to get their people's attention off of. Of course, it's all part of the thing. So Del Rio defeats Kofi in a high-flying match. Of course, if you've got Kofi Kingston, it's going to be a high-flying match anyway. Del Rio gets the cross armbar for the win. The Wyatts defeat the Primetime Players. This being the Wyatts return to Raw after being absent for a couple of weeks. And they're actually starting to push Titus O'Neil as a big guy, a big man, putting him up against people his own size. And I'm actually, I gave him some hell when they first started and for some stuff that happened. But I'm actually starting to see their potential. But Stephanie gets told by The Miz to shove her false legal threats up her ass. Hey, censor guy, you missed, because he said ass. You could hear it. Even with Stephanie's trying to stop him from at some point, he actually says ass. It's funny. Then he gets knocked out by the Big Show by Stephanie's order, and that's really getting old, WWE. We don't want the Big Slow. We don't want the Giant. We want the Big Show. We want him to run roughshod as he's done in the past. Orton versus RVD becomes a no contest. It was kind of just everything got out of control. Fandango defeats Santino, stopping Santino's winning streak on Raw. Heyman confronts CM Punk, and for those who don't know what happens on wrestling, let me translate. Heyman cons him into trying to attack him, and that allows Ryback and Axel. But now Punk held his own there for a while, but eventually 2-on-1. I still can't believe they're actually letting Ryback say that that's what happens to bullies. Really? All right. Totally Divas defeat AJ, Alicia Fox, Xana, Layla, and Tamina. It was a great match. If the WWE is listening, Natalya needs to be champion. Even though I do like AJ as a heel. She does have the best mic skills for her age and for her time in the business. But, and I understand that Natalya had some problems with the mic, but I don't know. I just think she needs to be champion. Best part of Raw. The Shield are coming out to apparently attack Daniel Bryan, who's in the ring after a long and drawn out, gives a great promo toward Triple H and everything. And so he actually, as they're getting in over the rail, over the barricade, Goldust and Cody come out of nowhere, attack them, and the crowd went crazy. I'm serious. Goldust was in the paint. They were all dressed in black. They come out of the audience, pretty much hit on each one of the Shield members, pretty much put them down, pissed them off pretty good, which I thought was really funny. And then they are escorted by multiple, security. The dynasty has risen, Triple H. Your move. We're going to see this. We're going to see the Rhodes dynasty. It's going to come to a head. There's going to be a meeting of the minds. And the Shield defeated by Bryan and company. Probably a great match. Had a lot of stuff going on in it. It was actually a pretty decent Raw up until Goldust them come out. Then it got interesting really, really quick. So I appreciate everyone who watches the show. I'm going to talk a little bit about our some sponsor stuff. That is the information I had for the show. I'm so sorry I wasn't here Saturday, but me sitting here moving my lips and nothing come out wouldn't have done good to do a show. Every Tuesday, unless otherwise tweeted or when I let you know on Google Plus or Facebook, we cover Raw and Ring Warriors if they've had any updates. So we cover headlines on both shows, and then Saturday we have our Wrestling Weekly show, which Tuesday is our wrestling broadcast. But on the weekly show, we cover TNA and SmackDown. And since we combined them, that's why I covered everything today. Zach Pack Promotions is our first sponsor that we deal with. Zach Pack Promotions you can find them on Facebook just by typing that out. At ZPack Promotions on Twitter and www.zachpackpromotions.com. And if you're looking for their Busting for Autism thing, it's in November 16th to 17th, Katy, Texas. At the end of the show, you'll see a picture with all the stars on it and everything. You can look down at the bottom of that picture, you can see their webpage, and it's got the Busting for Autism. And if you don't know what that is, basically we're trying to, sponsor a little girl that's everybody knows. She's sweet as pie. She's cool, and she's cute as a button too. And it's kind of something everybody's behind. You can have basically. They're having a quiet auction. Basically, you can actually pay to have lunch with one of the stars that's on this list. It's a wrestling autograph smorgasbord, okay? You've got Goldust, who is sold out now, but he will be there. He has sold out as far as having dinner with him. Sergeant Slaughter, Big Gene Snitsky, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Joey Image, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Honky Tonk Man, Rikishi, Selena Gaspar, Priscilla Barnes, Houston area Ghostbusters, and Ecto. Extreme Paranormal. There's a guy from Extreme Paranormal. For some reason, I did not write his name down. I do not know, but it's on that list at the end of it. True TV's Jackie Pusey. If you don't know, she's from the Car Wars or Parking Wars. Yeah, I can never remember that name. There's another one called Car Wars, so I don't know. But she is funny as hell. She's excellent. Iron Man 3's Iron Patriot actor Robert Zadar. Jim Decker, Hand of God author Tony Cree, and NPC bodybuilder Brett Torino. And that's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff going to be going on that day. It's going to be really, really fun. Then we have Fight Disability Slurs. It's a site that my wife started and I assist her with. We're trying to get rid of the people using the R word and trying to educate. Also, we're trying to stop any kind of slurs. Actually, we live in supposed to be in an enlightened world, and people using slurs just to be using them is dumb and shouldn't be done anymore. You can find them on Fight Disability Slurs on Facebook. You can find them on Twitter at Fight In Dis Slurs. That's Fight, capital N, capital D-I-S, capital S-U-R-L-S on Twitter, or you can Fight Disability Slurs at WordPress.com. Our next one is, and if you heard the music at the beginning of the show, that is a band called Throttle. They have allowed us to, I appreciate it. I always send my thanks out to them for allowing us to use our new theme song, New Blood. They did provide that. They have a new album coming out called Radar the Finish Line. And as soon as I get some information from it, you'll hear about it. All of this is going to be available on iTunes. And I want to send a shout out to Blast 52. You can follow them. They're an Irish band. They have some great music. You can hear a lot of it on YouTube, but they do have an album, and it's available on Amazon and iTunes. And if you'll go to Mayhem-news.com and look to the right, down under our affiliates, you can see both links to buy that album. I actually have the album. They actually sent it to me and my wife. It's good music, and it's something you can listen to, and it doesn't get old. And you want to follow them. The main band's Twitter is at Blast52, and then their drummer Stephanie is at Blast52drummer. If you follow, make sure you give them a shout out and tell them the Mayhem News sent you. But I really appreciate everyone that's, keeps up with the show, and, and I appreciate it. We are actually on feed. As soon as I can get a graphic made up, I will list the links. I will list the links that you can see the show on. You can find us on Mayhem News Live on your YouTube channel by searching YouTube on our channel. Or you can find us on feed. I will get that feed up later. Or you can also find us by searching Mayhem News Live on Facebook. And I actually post them to mayhem-news.com. You can see those shows, and I appreciate it. I'm going to let Throttle take us out before my voice starts to go out again. Been talking a while, so I appreciate it. Take us out, Throttle.